play tonight. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line. Weber imploring the crowd.
Jimmy Smith hitting the three. Big-time plays here by Steve Smith.
Welcome to another freewheeling hour of conversation here on NBA TV we like to call Open Court, because that's the name of the show. I'm Ernie Johnson. Down here is Chris Weber. You went a little too early. Give it to me again.
Oh, catch it.
Whatever. Bones Berry is next to Chris Weber.
Don't try to do that.
No, don't, please. And please, don't you try any of that.
The Dougie, yeah.
Teach me how to Chucky. Teach me how to Chucky. Teach me how to.
Look like you having a seizure.
As we call 911, we introduce Reggie Miller to the proceedings. Next to Reggie, we have Steve Kerr. And then rounding out the panel, both Steve Smith and Shaquille O'Neal, back for another rousing episode of Open Court. So things have changed in the way kids are brought up playing basketball these days, especially at the high school ranks. Back when you were coming up, you played at Leeds High School.
Yes.
Did you play any other time?
No.
Were you on an AAU team? Were you on any?
Ernie, I think AAU is the worst thing ever happened to the world.
Charles, there have been a lot of bad things happening in the world. I don't know how AAU is.
That's how bad AAU basketball is. Ernie, it's making these kids play 3 or 4 games a day, selling them to colleges. It's so unethical. You know, these kids shouldn't be playing as many games. They shouldn't be sold like property to different colleges. I have a serious issue with AAU, obviously. You know, I don't think these kids, I think all of us agree, you want to be the best player you can be. It ain't about trying to get all this talent together and just travel around and make money and all go to the same colleges or go to college for 1 year. It's just important to try to be the best basketball player you can be.
Okay, so if you do not agree that it's the worst thing that's ever happened in civilization, please raise your hand and tell me what's the redeeming part about AAU basketball, Smitty?
You know what's
you played AAU basketball.
I did, but it was different. We won a national championship, but I would probably say we played 15 games that entire summer. I mean, I don't know how many, but it wasn't more than 15 games, including the national championship. The bad part about it is, where else do these kids get a chance to play? I'm with Chuck. I don't like it, but my kids play AAU. But because there's not a lot of other places where they can go play. There's no recreation centers where I played. They got competition where kids can go play. There's not a lot of leagues, summer leagues, like St. Cecilia, in different places where teams can go play. I will advise, though, if you let your kid play AAU, you have to be involved. You know, you have to be involved.
To what extent? I mean, you're not not coaching the team, right?
You're not coaching the team, but you better make sure you hire somebody that you trust as a parent. For me, so I have an AAU team, just started it.
Trust in which way, though?
In every sense of trust, not only as a basketball knowledge, but being a great example as a man, you know, or a woman that's coaching, just as a human being. I mean, there's some AAU coaches out there that, you know, it's not for the right reasons. And I think AAU is starting to get a little bit better. I think you definitely have to start to look at background checks. Some of these guys got to know CPR. They don't have a clue on just how to coach, how to be around kids. And we've lost that, though, because when I grew up, it was my elementary school coach who taught me how to play, who we just came up to the school and played pickup, junior high, high school, where you can just go play basketball. These kids don't have those opportunities right now.
Hasn't it gotten to the point, Smitty, where it's out of control? Like,
yes.
The stories over the past 10 to 15 years about AAU basketball and how much it's ruined the youth that are coming up playing the game. How do you rein it in from where it is now? Because you're talking about
well, I will say,
to solve.
I will say, Brent, there's a whole bunch of great stories out there, but this is the coach who's not gathering up all the kind of talent and win national championship. That when you have the great coaches and people who care, they're probably not winning the national championship. They're probably not traveling around as much. They have a team, they play locally, or they'll go a couple games here and there. But they're not going to be a team in Atlanta that's going to grab 5 kids from Chicago. So you're not going to win unless you gather so much talent. So then you're not talking about those stories. They don't get glorified, the coaches who are doing it the right way.
And what do you think their motivation is? For the coaches that you do not like in AAU?
Money and greed.
Well, money, is it positions? Is it?
Yes. Oh, yeah. But that's actually part of the money thing. Yeah. You see it all the time where it's a package deal for the best players. Like you see guys, some of these guys are coaches, and you're like, and listen, I'm involved now that I'm in the college game. I know some of the college players, coaches, and they always talk about, well, I can't sign this kid because his coach wants a job. And then the shoe companies, they're steering kids to certain schools, which makes it even more corrupt. So it's not a level playing field. Listen, they're going to make money on these kids, but we have a moral obligation to make sure these kids get their education.
I'm not quite sure there's a governing body for the AAU. I mean, is there an oversight that someone oversees? And what's sad about AAU now is when we were all growing up, playing high school basketball was the most important thing. You wanted your high school basketball team to be ranked and to win a state championship and so forth. Now these young blue chip superstars, AAU is the big thing now. That's where most coaches find their talent, is going to these AAU tournaments as opposed to going to your high school and watching you play. Now they'll interview your AAU coach as opposed to your high school coach. And I think that's what's lost with these young players is not only are these coaches, AAU coaches, skimming from the top from the shoe company, but they're trying to get as you mentioned, a job at the college level and then to further advance to try to get to the professional level, all while this young kid suffers.
Yes.
And
along the way.
And you see high school teams built now, not really on where you're growing up and where your district is, but how your AAU team can within the guidelines say, yeah, you live there and you can play there, and it's getting a little crazy. So C-Webb, fix it.
That's tough. You got to fix people first. You know, it's a lot of, one thing I think is a result of AAU is bad coaching. And you see guys coming in the NBA, because now if I'm your cousin, I'm Shaq's cousin, hey, big fella, you know, you got to look out for me. Let me coach a team with you, and I know nothing about basketball. That's one of the things I've been seeing, you know. So I think, you know, when I play AAU, and Steve, this is probably maybe true for you coming from Detroit, our coaches were like our father figures. Like, you know, Mr. Montgomery's 83 years old, and Curtis Hervey, those are old guys. So we had to do homework at the house. We would get in trouble. We'd sneak girls over the house. It was like a second parent. And so for a lot of these guys, I see them having buddies. And I don't think it's ever good to be 15 years old with the 25-year-old guy who's your buddy, who doesn't teach you about life, doesn't teach you about the game, but basically is teaching you about the guilt and how to have hanger-ons and all those things, because that's what it becomes, because some of these guys have no right coaching, some of these guys have no right being around the players. And
well, unfortunately, Ernie, I think it's only going to get worse because, you know, these coaches want so much power. They want so much prestige by using the kids. And, you know, we all make good points, but, you know, the big companies have a lot to do with it also. Like, you know, like if you're like a local kid in the neighborhood and you're a star and, you know, your AAU coach can get you the new Jordans, that's how the coach is going to lure you in. So now that he got you in, you got the new Jordan. He's not really paying you, but in a sense he is paying you. He give you the new Jordan sweatshirt, he give you the new Jordan. So now, and then college coaches have access to the AAU coaches, and, you know, like you said, they're not going to the high schools anymore. They're going to these AAU coaches. So unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to get fixed. I think it's going to get worse.
Why does it continue to thrive when it has the obvious flaws and the obvious red flags that jump out at all of y'all?
Because it's all about winning.
Well, I don't think there's a governing body, not that I know of. I coached my son's team for about 3 years, and we would play teams where the same kid who played on a different team earlier is now playing on another team in the afternoon. But the biggest problem I saw was that nobody practiced. Nobody practices in AAU. You just go from one tournament to the next. And I think one of the reasons we don't have any real low-post players anymore in the league is because developing a low-post game is the hardest thing to do in basketball. You know, you can dribble around and stuff and shoot and work on your game, but to develop a low-post game takes a ton of work. And all the guys who are obsessed of developing a post game. And so all the time spent traveling from one tournament to the next, without any practice time, it stunts the growth of the basketball players themselves.
And you know, children are always a product of what they see. When I was growing up, David Robinson, it was Patrick Ewing, and a little bit of Kareem. So that's why I wanted to play in the post. Now, you know, we don't, like you said, we don't really have a lot of post presence. That's why now today the game is suffering, because the kids, you know, after me, after you, they're not really seeing a lot of post players. They're seeing the Euro post player, guys that could step out, pick and pop, shoot the jumper. So I agree with you, Steve.
It's an installment of Open Court we call School Days, and it will continue after this.
Before I came to San Antonio, I was, you know, 6'10", 6'11", couldn't dunk a basketball, so my confidence was very, very low. So me and Joe would practice every day. And
I ain't rolling with that. I still don't believe that. You're telling us.
I promise you. It's early.
Welcome back to School Days on NBA TV's Open Court. Steve Kerr, anybody you played high school or college ball that you were still tight with?
Oh, yeah. Judd Bushler is my best buddy. I see him every day. We live in San Diego, a couple miles from each other. We were teammates first at Arizona and then with Chicago. And it's great. Our daughters basically have known each other since they were born. Judd coaches volleyball. My daughter plays for him. So he's like family pretty much.
Wow, it sounds exactly like that. And so how does that relationship evolve through the years? And when you think back to the first day you met him and then you see your kid playing for him as he coaches.
It's, you know, that's one of the things that's great about basketball, when you have a teammate and you go through all the battles and you know, practices and ups and downs, and you get so close. And then if you're able to maintain that friendship going forward through your kids, it's special. You know, we share something that you know, very few people can share, just those memories of you know, playing in school and playing in the NBA and doing it together.
Steve, what's the most important relationship with a high school teammate or a college teammate that continues to this day?
You know, I think is what we did off the court. You know, the friendship. That's what I think I miss about college, high school, and basketball. You definitely miss the competition, but the bus rides. You know, the bus rides, I think, is legendary. The flights. You know, I have my best friend was the best man in my wedding in high school. He lives out in Vegas, so we still can get together and look at each other and laugh about a moment, and no one else knows the moment but me and him, because something that we, you know, starting to recant and look back at what we did in high school.
Same thing, Reggie.
Well, what was interesting is, you know, for the Hall of Fame, when you've got to reflect on things and they give you a chance to get up there and speak, it gave me a chance to go back and bring my high school coach, Arlo Guard. And I hadn't seen him in, I mean, to have a chance for him to be a part of that moment for me, because, you know, I didn't play AAU basketball, and it was a chance for he and I to reconnect, and to have him with me during that moment and for him to be there, it was really cool.
Yeah, you know what? The other night, something struck me too, Charles. You had somebody who played on the Auburn basketball team with you.
Yeah.
Came by the studio one night and was hanging out in the green room watching us work. And what's the story there?
You know, high school and college are a little bit different than the pros, because in the pros, we all get traded except Reggie. I think Reggie's the only one who played his entire career for one team, so that's a little bit different. But the rest of us, once you get traded, you got to make a new set of friends on another team. But in high school and college, especially high school, you've been with those guys your whole life. So you always have a special bond with them. I went back to my 30-year high school reunion last year. It was like,
those are freaky, aren't they?
They are.
That's a little.
But you know what's
a little spooky.
But you know what's
another
really,
segment. Oh man, I'm telling you.
No, but you know what's really cool about it? You kind of represent them. You took it to another team, because obviously those guys didn't go on to the NBA. But when I go home, I bump into a couple of them. It's always great to see them. Same thing with college. You know, those guys I played with in college, Chuck Person made it to the NBA, but the rest of those guys did not. So we keep in contact through the whole 30 years, basically. I always look forward to sitting when I go down to Auburn if we do some type of event together. But we'll always have that special bond. And I hope that they're proud of me. They all help in their own way. They all help me in some way. And we'll always have that special bond with high school and college. And I hope they have enjoyed this amazing journey, because when you're growing up in Leeds, Alabama, you know, some of us were late bloomers, some of us knew we were going to be great for one day. When I met C. Webb in high school, I was like, damn, that's a big dude. You know, because I had Rick Mahorn said, I got this kid.
Is that picture when you had the Zubas on?
Yeah.
I was like, my favorite player. It's dope. He got the little choke chain. He got Hulk Hogan pants.
You know, I went to speak at Mahorn's camp, and he said, hey, man, this guy, Chris Webber, I said, he's the best high school player in the country. I had already read about him.
Yeah.
And he's in the weight room. Chris was always the same height in high school that he was through his whole NBA career. Like, he was this size at 18. And I walk in there, and he's pumping iron. I said, whoa, that guy put together pretty good. And it was really cool to meet him, and obviously all the years later see his great success. But, man, when you on a team, Ernie, there's always a clique on a team. The notion that you hang out with everybody, that's bogus. But there's one or two guys. In Philly, it was Rick Mahorn and Mike Jaminski. In Arizona, it was Mark West and Dan Marley and Sid Ceballos. But you have a little clique where you're like, hey, man, we're going to dinner. You know, and that don't mean you dislike those other guys. It's just certain guys. The bench guys hang out together, and a couple starters hang out together. So, but it's a really cool thing.
Is there one name that sticks out when you throw that question out, Chris, about a high school teammate who you still remain tight with today?
Really, I got to say 4 guys. And it's funny because every time I'm on TNT, they'll text. There's a difference between Chuck in that locker room or something, because they all were fans. So, yeah, Yapo Montgomery, Kevin Colson, Adrian Tanone, and Vincent Archer. I knew, you know, we were real close.
So you guys, that was the original Fab Five.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I see these guys now, they're business owners doing their thing, and so, but, you know, someone said it earlier, you know, you only get to dream with somebody one time. So these are the people that I'm watching TNT, TBS with, and we're all in the room dreaming. Mine might be a little more realistic because I'm taller, but we're all in the room dreaming, and so just the fact that you knew that they didn't want anything out of you. You know, you knew that they really cared for you. You knew that, you know, they just love basketball. And even when you see them today, you guys shared things like you said in the locker room, or, you know, on the way to the bus back when I was younger, used to sing and clap and make up songs and, you know, all these type of things. So, yeah, those high school cats forever, you know, are some of my closest friends.
And is it, I know that the obvious thing would be for them to look at where you were and where you went with your career and be impressed with that. But does it work the other way too? When you see them and you say, "Wow, look what you started here," or look at those kids, aren't they? I mean, what's that feel like? When
it's crazy because you all know that the joke's on you. You all know, like, wait a minute, we aren't this mature. You know, I have a friend Adrian. He was the guy who walked on. He was a football player, walked on the basketball team because he was our boy. So you know, you had a guy that really can't play that well. You try to get big leads so he can get in the game. And silly guy, his father's from Italy, barely speaks any English, and we would go to his restaurants and things like that. Now to see him run the restaurant, to see it be, you know, more successful, him do a great job for his father, it's just kind of funny. Yeah, I admire, you know, a lot of those guys that I went through, because I think you said it earlier, Chuck, you know, basketball teaches you so much. Being hard work, good character, get there early, no excuses. And so all these guys come to me and say, you know, my success is based off of basketball, based off of what they learn. So, yeah, I admire, you know, what they do, because we're blessed with this job. They're in the real world getting it.
Bones, who do you stay in contact with, or have they tried to eliminate that contact?
What was your boy's name earlier?
Most of them, yes. But I'm going to piggyback a little bit, C. Webb. One guy that stands out to me, played 8th grade basketball with him, played in grade school. His name was Brad Pierce, and also played with a girl in 8th grade. Her name was Wendy Wyness. She was on our 8th grade basketball team. I don't talk to her all that much, but through Brad, I find out what she's doing. But maybe for all the guys and the people that we're mentioning in this little segment, there's one thing about my connection with Brad is that if I haven't talked to him in 3 weeks, and if I haven't talked to him in 3 months, and when I pick up the phone call and it's from him, I swear I'm 13 years old again. I swear he's going to say something to me about playing Christ the King in 8th grade when we lost to the little fat kid and the other kid with the goggles, and we're going to giggle and we're going to laugh because, you know what, they never cared. He's never cared about what it is that I've done. he's always cared about who it is I've become. And he always takes me back to that. So my buddy Brad Pierce in 8th grade.
Wow. And Shaq, I think everybody's weighed in, but you on this one?
Yes, my name is a guy by the name of Joe Cavalier. Joe actually works for me now. We've been best friends since '88. When I came from Germany in '88, went to a small school in San Antonio. Joe was the only one that talked to me, that hung out with me. And Joe was a great athlete. He was such a great athlete. My school from 9 to 12 was only 200 people, and our graduating class was 38. He was such a great athlete that at the end of the year, when they handed out awards, that we had to split the awards. So, you know, we both had dreams. He went on to play baseball, had a shoulder injury, so he couldn't, you know, fulfill his dreams of becoming a professional baseball player. So when I got drafted to Orlando, I moved him down to Orlando. He's been working for me ever since. His nickname is Joeski Love. He loves this show. He loves you guys. And so, you know, and back in '88, '89, Joe was always the one that pushed me, because before I came to San Antonio, I was, you know, 6'10", 6'11", couldn't dunk a basketball, so my confidence was very, very low. So me and Joe would practice every day, and
I ain't rolling with that. I still don't believe that. You're telling us.
I promise you.
It's the same stuff you said last year. 6'11" can't dunk.
Anyway, Ernie, listen.
Stop lying, Jack. Somebody send the tape over here. Pair of each.
We're taking the man at his word.
6'11", if you 6'11" can't dunk, you'll
still. I couldn't play.
Yeah, you got a
Listen,
problem.
I couldn't dunk, I could play, but Joe would come pick me up. He'd take me to the local gym, and I started off dunking a sock. In a volleyball.
Man, get out of here.
I got enough confidence to start talking about, yes, 6'11". No, Ernie, you know what it was? I had Osgood Schlotters, and I had really bad knees. Had bad knees. Yeah. And then, you know, at this point...
You don't need knees to dunk.
Yeah, you do. You got to jump. At this point, before that point, I met Dale Brown, and I met him, and, you know, he told me to lift weights and so I started doing that. And when I got to San Antonio, I still couldn't dunk, but Joe was one that kept pushing me, and then finally I got over the hump. Then I became the nastiest dunker in the world.
That Osgood Slatter stuff, that right there below the knee, that stuff is, that was...
We got to ask Sergeant about that. We got to ask Sergeant about that.
The elevator could only go to the 3rd floor. We're coming back with more on Open Court in just a second as we explore an age-old basketball myth.
Saw Charles later, he goes, I didn't know you were going to be in the dunk contest. I think he thought I was going over the ball boy of the game.
Three-point shooting.
For sure the threes, yeah.
E-Jack.
What's up, boy?
What's up? I got a question. Shaq couldn't dunk when he first got to high school?
He said he couldn't dunk.
He said he couldn't dunk.
Not good.
He said he would go for a combination Michael Jordan, Dr. J, risky dunk if he needed it.
I think he got it, Reggie. I think he got it.
Back here with more of Open Court. That was San Antonio, I believe.
Yes,
right?
it was.
The site of that slam dunk contest. And I remember working with Reggie Theus that night, and Reggie said on the air, I do not believe what I've seen. A white guy just won the slam dunk contest. And we have, you've heard this whole white men can't jump thing. So did you destroy the myth with that performance in San Antonio?
No. I mean,
It's not a myth, Ernie.
Ask Steve. Steve can dunk. No, I was just mentioning that Charles is at the Riverwalk in San Antonio. Was obviously
He was a big fan of the Riverwalk even back then.
Yes.
Big creek, Ernie. It's a big creek.
many years ago, and I was sitting with Charles and having lunch, and Gary Payton was there as well, and I just happened to be with my mom, my stepdad at the time, and Charles invited us over, said, hey, you know, come have lunch with us. I don't think he, you know, knew who I was. I had to reintroduce myself. And I said, Charles, I got to go over to do the contest and stuff. I was getting up from lunch early. He goes, where are you going? I said, I got to go over and do that. So I did that, got up. I left my mom and my stepdad with Charles, went over to the arena at the Alamo Dome and ended up winning the dunk contest. And then saw Charles later. He goes, I didn't know you were going to be in the dunk contest. I think he thought I was going over the ball boy the game.
Three-point shooting.
For sure the threes. Yeah, for sure the threes. But no, Ernie, I mean, I get asked about it often, not as often as I used to after it. But it was an exhibition, and I had just what I thought was an opportunity to have a little bit of fun. Yeah. I ended up winning the thing, and as I've told you before, I've done something with the trophy that I don't think any other dunk champion has done with the trophy.
Very creative, I might add.
Very creative. I've turned it into a chips and dip bowl. I've shown you the photos of it. I've taken the top off, and I use it for Super Bowl parties.
Ernie, we gotta just come out and be honest here. Brent's the exception, not the rule. Okay, Brent, Rex Chapman, Tom Chambers. I mean, there's a handful of white guys who could really jump, but the vast majority of us are. Yeah, me and you.
But yeah, when you guys were growing up playing though, were there these preconceived ideas about when you're playing somebody, if you're playing a white team, you're thinking these guys
can really shoot.
These guys, but they
really shoot. They're
fundamentally sound.
They're going to set good screens.
Really, I mean, it was all.
We're going to press them and try to turn them over.
I mean, Reg, was this basically your thought process?
That's what we thought of when we played in all-white school. Oh my God, they're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to really be shooting. We're not going to play a zone. We're going to get up on them. We're going to press and basketball.
And on conversely, if you played an all-black team.
Got to handle the pressure. Got to handle the full court pressure and move the ball and be sound and don't turn it over. It's a dunk at the other end. I mean, it's, you know.
You get over that quick. You get over that quickly, though, Ernie, because it's like that in high school. But once you get to college, everybody
can play.
Everybody can play.
Yeah, it was different.
Like in high school, when you're better than most teams, yeah. But when you get, first of all, to the state tournament, there's some good teams in there that are white or black. There's some really good teams. But you don't really know it's a level playing field until you get to college. And then you're like, woo, John Stockley can really play.
Exactly.
You know, Tom Chambers can really play. You know, I mean, so you get over that quickly, to be honest with you.
And I think for us as African-American kids, you know, we always hear that white men can't jump. First time I seen a white guy dunk and really throw it down was when Tom Chambers put his knee on Mark Jackson's chest and threw it down. When he did that, I was like, uh-oh. And then Rex Chapman would throw it down and you guys would throw it down. So, you know, the myth is still there a little bit, but, you know, these guys can, you know, really, really compete.
What about Tom Gugliotta? Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say that. I know.
What happened? What happened on that play?
You didn't see Charles?
No,
what? Minnesota. He just went right at Charles, right at his chest.
It was a charge. They didn't call it.
You took a charge?
I did. No, they called blocking. It was a charge, really.
Oh, it was an and one? He threw it down and got an and one?
What?
Yeah. Hey, you know, everybody talk about the time C. Webb dunked on me, which it's no big deal to get dunked on. But what's really funny about that,
you just brought it up.
Well,
bring it always coming to the surface.
You know, because but it was so funny about that play was I'm thinking to myself when we ran down the court, I said, I got to foul him. So I get ready to grab him, and he wrapped that bad boy around his back, and I get nothing but air. And then right in the middle of, when I reached down and got nothing but air, I said, uh-oh. I said, because I said, I'm finna grab this guy. And he put that ball behind his back, and all I know, I said, I can see right now, I said, I'm in trouble now.
A fast break down to Webber. He turns. Look out behind the back, and the stuck in the thumb.
But Chuck, question. When they did that barbershop commercial, did he have to get clearance from you to do that commercial?
No, Nike called me. First of all, I'll tell you something funny. Like, my first couple years in the NBA, I used to always say, I ain't going to let nobody dunk on me. After you get dunked on, like, the first 10 or 15 times, they all kind of run together. Everybody dunks on you. It's no big deal to get dunked on. So Nike called me and says, we're going to have some fun with you. I said, cool, of course, dude. And then when I saw the commercial, I just started laughing. I did.
That commercial took, like, maybe 20 minutes, because you know Nike's the best in commercials, so we go in there, it's like Joe Torre, it's a bunch of comedians there, and it's just me, Spree, and a couple guys, and they like, just talk, and that's how it happened. We were just talking. That all was a freestyle, you know, they knew that I liked him, but he did it to himself because, you know, after I met him, after I had his poster on my wall, it's like, you can't, you know, Bruce Lee had to beat the master, so you can't beat the man and my family at the end of it. If you notice, I look up and I'm talking in the stands. I'm talking to my father. I brought all of Biltmore up there. I'm talking to my brothers, all of them, like, say something now, because they were like, Barkley gonna kill you tonight. You know? And in the playoffs, though, we paid for it. But anyway.
Hey, Bones, we saw the dunk contest, but in game, how much did you dunk in game?
Not much. A few, but not much. I mean, I was a shooter. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is that I was a shooter when I played. You know, I played a little bit of point guard at some times in my career, but you know, more often than not, I found myself getting to know every season ticket holder in the corners of most of the arenas around the NBA. Where you're like, hey, Mike, how are the kids? Oh, I got to get this one off. So, yeah, more shooting, but occasionally, you know, I'd have an opportunity on the fast break to do something and get something down, and I enjoyed that.
You see, we saw what you did to Charles, but are there some guys in the league who it's more fun to dunk over than others?
No doubt.
Like who?
No doubt.
Why did everybody like to dunk on Sean Bradley so much?
Because he went for him.
Yeah, I got a nice Sean Bradley highlight reel since 15 under AAU when he was like 7'1". But because, I mean, you know, it's the same as running over a linebacker if you're a great running back, or hitting a home run off a pitcher and point. It's, you know, I wanted to get Mutombo. I wanted to get Mark Eaton. I wanted to get, you know, every single center. Anybody taller than you.
Did you get Shaq?
Never. Only been dunked on twice in 19 years. No.
I'm sure.
No.
I'm sure.
Oh,
I got the big man inside.
You know, only got dunked on by Jordan and Derek Coleman.
You look at Alonzo Mourning, Mutombo, Mark Eden, Manute Bol.
Yeah, Manute.
Patrick.
George
like
Milsap.
those guys, people say they get dunked on. That's because
they go for it.
They go for it. Like a lot of guys get out the way. A lot of guys, I respect it. Those guys. A lot of guys get out the way because they don't want to be in the picture. But you ask, the question you ask, see, well, anytime you dunk on one of those guys who go for everything, it's an honor.
Yeah.
You know, anytime I got Manute, I got Alonzo Mourning one time because Alonzo Mourning went after everything. I mean, he's trying to block shots in warm-ups. You know, I respected the hell out of that guy, but he's trying to block everything. But Manute and Mutombo, I don't think I ever got Mutombo, but I got Manute a couple times. But because you only gonna dunk on him 1 out of 7, 8, 10 times. So it's always good.
You know who used to go for every block in transition was Craig Elo. He'd go for it every time, and he kept getting dunked on. And finally, we said, Craig, why do you keep going for it? You're gonna end up on all these posters. He goes, my only chance to be on a poster. Fair enough.
Did you get any more satisfaction on layups against various defenders as opposed to others?
You know what hurt me was remember when they raised the backboard? Like when we first started in the league, the backboard was, and guys would like lay it up and slap the backboard. Then they raised the backboard and it got a little harder for me. That was a tough blow for me.
Now, what's the little one-on-one you guys got going on over here? I don't even know what this conversation's about.
As a 7'2" center, he only got dunked on twice.
Because he wasn't going for it.
I know, that's what I'm saying, Charles.
No, stop it.
Why you only got dunked on twice?
First of all, I'm 7th in blocks. Check it out with Underdog. That's first of all. Second of all,
Underdog.
Second of all, my thing was I got to put you on your back, and I learned that from guys like you and Charles Oakley and Xavier McDaniels, because if you let a guy dunk on you, psychologically he has the edge. But if you lay him on his back, and psychologically, I got the edge. So
who's the two guys you said?
Michael Jordan got me one time from the baseline, and Derek Coleman got me one time when he did.
Benoit Benjamin got you too.
No way.
Hey, Steve, you started a fight right across the street when Mutombo got dunked on.
Which one?
When we was with the Bullets and we played y'all, and y'all were playing in Georgia Tech. You remember when that was going on?
Didn't that carry up the walkway?
Yeah, we fought all. Me and Steve, like, you know, because the whole thing was I came out to middle court and our team stunk in Washington. So I was like, Juwan, I'm about to dunk on Mutombo today. I'm gonna get him. No, Webb, no. So I dunk on him halftime. Steve like, that ain't nothing. You ain't. Then it was a big fight. But it's something, especially as a big man. You're taught, you know, you're being weak if you lay the ball up. You're taught every time to go down with authority, make sure the easiest shot is a dunk and those type of things. So it's the most, you know, it's the only time. It's like boxing one-on-one. It's the only time when everybody can make a jump shot. Everybody can do the body dunk on. I don't know if it's anything that demeaning. Don't take the ball out after you get dunked on is the number one.
I want to know, when you're the biggest man on the planet, as you are, Shaq, and was, who was the one guy that, other big men I'm talking about, not guards, but was it a Mark Eaton that you wanted to dunk? Who was the one guy you wanted to dunk on?
Never got a pair of those. So I just hated the Georgetown guys. So I had to get them. Any guy that was enormously taller than me, like George Mirasan, was what?
He dunked on you.
Stop it.
George Mirasan.
No way.
Yao.
7'6", Yao Ming, and Sean Bradley. I had to get those guys every time.
That's bad, Brad.
We're going to take it
2
strong
times 19 years,
to
baby.
break and come back on Open Court with more.
You can't handle
Right after
George's
this.
shot. You
What
can't
is that all
handle George
about?
Duncan.
Read
You
it
make
now.
a quilt.
We really
I did make a quilt.
You made a blanket to sleep with. You made a little blankie to sleep with.
This school days edition of Open Court continues here on NBA TV. I don't know if I should even ask you this, Charles.
Go ahead, my brother.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Lunch.
See, I told you I shouldn't have. You waited way too long. You gave him the opening.
Ernie,
He said snacks. Snacks. 101.
Snackology.
you know, Ernie.
Twinkie physics.
Snackology.
Twinkie physics.
Come on, man. Fillings, stuffings and fillings.
Chips Ahoy mouth. 1 + 1 is 2 chips. I got 2 cookies
the
today.
question for those.
Home ec cooking class.
Snackology.
I actually did like home ec.
You gonna eat that cornbread?
What did you do with
Eat
home
that
ec?
cornbread?
They taught you how to sew. They taught you how to make an outfit.
Oh, taught you how to make an outfit.
Yeah, like you do the little
get the pattern
you cut the patterns.
Did you,
Yeah.
did you make this?
No, I did. I can't remember. I made like a shirt, I want to say. That was fun. And learning how to cook different things. I did like home ec. But I will tell you this, Ernie. I will tell you this, man. For some reason, I was great
You
at
make a
math.
quilt.
Oh, I did make a quilt.
You made a blanket to sleep with. You made a little blankie to sleep with.
No, but for some reason,
Reggie, get him off of you.
Okay. Hey, listen, but to be honest with you, math was good, easy for me, to be honest with you. I have no idea why, but math was easy for me.
Bones.
Creative writing. I'm just going to leave it at that.
It's a very hard act to
Yeah,
follow.
it's not even
And it
gonna
gives
try.
him no opening
Yeah.
over there. See, Webb, what was your best subject in school?
Best subject was probably, early probably was math. Late was probably something just with reading that you could interpret and they just couldn't grade it on a hard scale.
Shaquille, were you a good test taker in school?
Excellent.
What was your technique?
What made you so good?
What made you good? Your technique? My technique, because I could...
Ancient Chinese secret.
Yes, it is an ancient Chinese secret.
You did the Christmas tree thing, didn't you?
Listen,
You did the Christmas tree on the test.
no, I did. Every now and then I did do that. But I had the ability to see everything.
Just peripheral, there's magic in the classroom.
Yes, yeah, peripheral. And then I also had the ability to look and obtain information very quickly. C-A-B-B-C-C-D-A-D. And I was able to do all that before the teacher looked at it. But no, my favorite subject, believe it or not, in grade school was Greek mythology. I used to love Zeus and Juno and all that, and of the gods and talking about all that. Yeah, elementary.
Juno, the little girl who got pregnant?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That was a good movie.
Go, Smitty, go.
Math.
Oh, see what an easy out that was.
Judo.
That's something like that. Steve?
English. I liked reading, but this is not interesting. Let's go back to Shaq. Let's talk about Shaq some more.
Test-taking skills, no. Reggie?
U.S. and world history.
Oh, yeah? Still?
Still, before you go forward, you got to know where you came from.
True. And fraternity guys?
No. Ernie, come
Yes.
on. We don't have time for that.
Yes.
Nobody has time.
Me.
Oh, stop it.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you played?
Did you play? You got
Yes.
smacked and had
Yes.
to walk around.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
I guarantee you know, if he couldn't
Stop
dunk
it.
when he was 7'1",
Omega
you
Psi
think
Phi.
he played?
Q-Dog in college at LSU.
You after.
Stop it. Ask him about me. Yes.
What
You
did you
used
play?
to hit that after dunks?
LSU.
At dunks.
What?
after.
Which fraternity?
Omega
Omega
Psi
Psi Phi. She's
Dog.
cute.
Is that what that was?
Diesel
Yes.
after dunks,
Yes.
right? That
Yeah.
in college, yes.
But Smitty no, and
very
Kerr
much.
no,
Yes.
and me.
I
no.
guarantee you can
Hoop, fi, hoop.
do a step right now.
Yeah.
If you remember that. Do a step.
Go.
Go. Hiya! Ah! Get it! Sock! His knee hurt. His back. Okay. Maybe he did.
Thank you very much.
School day. Fake ass school day.
He didn't.
No, look. What's funny, Ernie,
I'm
is
tired as hell.
our basketball, your college team,
was basically a
that's your fraternity, right? And most fraternity guys that pledged, they didn't like athletes anyways, because we got all the women. We stole their women. So that's why we were our own fraternity.
Hoop, fi, hoop.
and aced all the tests. And Will,
Can I have your little blankie that you made, Chucky?
In home ec.
I had a maroon Toyota Corolla when I was a senior in high school. It was kind of a family car, but I got to drive it. It would only start if your seatbelt was fastened.
And we welcome you back to Open Court with a reminder you can catch more episodes on NBA.com. Wrapping up this edition of Open Court here on NBA TV with a lightning round. One quick question and preferably a quick answer, although you can give us a little detail on Shaquille O'Neal. Your first car.
My first car was a Bronco 2, and this is the reason why I bought it. Remember Poison Clan? They had a song that went something like this, Ernie. I had a Bronco 2 with some bazookas on the back, 10-inch, and I used to get on that thing and I used to play the song. B stands for Bronco, Ben, BMW, Ben, Ben, Dan, to the Canada, B, boom, don't keep it, Dan, Dan, B, Dan, Dan, China, and this part right here. Bronco, boom, 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 Bronco, boom, boom, that part right there. So I used to like set it up. So when I rolled up on campus, right in front of the girls, I used to make sure that part was playing. Bronco.
You had that at LSU?
I had LSU.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey, wait. I used the one I might have.
Wow. All right, Dale Brown.
That's right,
Nice.
Dale. Nice. I'll never tell, Dale.
Smitty.
1980 Buick Skylark in high school. Without a radio, without a dash. I didn't have any music.
Without a dash.
I didn't. That's where my dad got it from used car place. I didn't have a dashboard. No dash.
No
Just a
dashboard.
steering wheel.
Not that there wasn't anything on the dashboard.
No.
There was no dashboard at all.
dashboard.
Wow.
It's all right.
Sounds safe.
I had a maroon Toyota Corolla when I was a senior in high school. It was kind of a family car, but I got to drive it. It would only start if your seatbelt was fastened. And it was a stick, and I was just learning how to drive it, and I didn't have my seatbelt on. I had started it, but I guess I took the seatbelt off, and I stalled in an intersection and panicked, and now the car won't start because my seatbelt's not on. And I ended up, my friend got out and actually lifted the hood to make it look like we had car trouble. And it took about 20 minutes for us to figure out, okay, we got to fasten our belts for it to start.
Always a good ploy. Reg?
Family car as well. A light blued Ford Escort that Cheryl and I was hand-me-down from her dad. And it took 15 minutes to actually get the heater to work. So before school, we'd have to turn it on, wait 15 minutes, and then leave for school.
Thankfully, being out there in L.A., not a whole lot of real.
You didn't really need it, but
yeah.
just in case.
Okay, what was the first one what were you seeing tooling around Leeds in there, Charles?
For my high school graduation, my mom and grandmother got me a used Cutlass Supreme. Had the T-tops. It was a sweet, but I graduated in 81, but it got me like a 78, 79 Cutlass Supreme. Love that thing. Silver.
Bones?
I had a 1984 silver Chevy Cavalier, a two-door. That was my grandmother's. And a lot of my grandma's things were still in the car when I first got it. And,
a real chick magnet.
yeah. So when I drove to the all-boys school in the Chevy Cavalier and had my radio turned up to Lawrence Welk, nobody was looking twice at me.
All right, see, you're up.
It was a red Corsica. It was the family car, and my father bought a new car, and I got the Corsica, and I had to get through the passenger side, and the seat didn't work, but it was cool because back then you wanted to drive like this, anyway, and lean back. But
what do you mean back then?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I know that's I saw you wheeling out of work the other day.
That's the way I rolled in the Chevrolet Monza back in 1978.
Nice.
Yes,
Citation.
sir. When I was, and they had to teach me they taught me in the lot how to drive a stick, and I drove it off.
That was it.
Wow.
And wasn't long before I got in an intersection and had to put the hood up as well. So that's another edition of Open Court. We certainly hope you've enjoyed it, and for our entire gang, Ernie Johnson, we'll see you next time.